It really isn't that complicated to make more money. I mean, like, all of us should know how to make more money. But I want to stress to you really quickly the factors that are involved, right? So number one is obviously sell more property, right? This is the obvious one. The rest are obviously not as obvious. Or the rest of them are obviously not as obvious, right? The rest of them are a little bit more complicated to focus on and work on. So first one, sell more properties, which is just generating more opportunities, right? Generating more leads. Doing the best you can to increase the amount of leads you're generating on a very regular basis, right? Whether it's daily, weekly, or monthly, the more leads you can generate, the higher the likelihood you're going to have to sell more property. Number two, make them worth more. Increase the purchase price. Increase the value of that property, right? Make them worth more for us. I'll even just say increase purchase price, right? Increase sale price. Because I'll give you an example afterwards. But if you have the ability to sell more property and you can increase the average sales price, you're going to make a multiple. And it continues to multiply as you go down, which is pretty awesome. So if hypothetically you have two different scenarios, scenario A, scenario B. Okay. Scenario A, let's say that you sell 4 properties a year. And scenario B, you sell 6 properties a year. Obviously, if they're all worth, over here, 1 million, 4 properties times $1 million is $4 million in production. Now, if you sell more property, and they're all at $1 million over here, that's $6 million in production. You're probably going to make more money. We'll do average commissions in a second, right? So let's just say that you make 2% over here, because we're going to talk about commission in a minute. But $4 million for $1 million properties at 2% commission, that's $4 million times 2%. That's $80,000 in fees. Over here, though, increase the average sales price. So instead of $1 million, let's say that you do now have an average sales price of $2 million. So you went from 4 at $1 million, which is $4 million, to now 6 at $2 million, which is $12 million. Even if it was the same 2%, that's $240,000. $240,000, which, is a 3x multiple if you just did the same 2%. So this one is increased commission average. Okay, this is magical math. This is exactly how you blow up a business. Like if you just focus on these metrics that make the most impact on your dollars net, it's not hard to make more money. Again, sell more property, increase your sales price, increase commission percentages. Watch how crazy this is. Again, $1 million properties times 2% is $4 million in production times 2%, 80,000. Over here, 6 sales times $2 million times 2% old commission rate, because you were selling deals by putting them on LoopNet or CoStar and having another broker bring a buyer, and you were took an exclusive on every deal, and you never really represented both sides ever, right? You'd still make $240,000, which is a 3x multiple. Now, if hypothetically you focus on your commission percentages, like we teach here, right? Let's say you got to 4% average. You double-ended the more, a majority of your deals making 4, 5, or 6% commission. You averaged 4%. So now you're doing 6 deals times $2 million, which is $12 million, times 4%. That's $480,000 now. Over here, I'm going to get rid of this number 4 for a second. So over here we have 80 grand. Okay, 80K. Over here we have 480K. All you did, and because if you do just one of them, it's addition. But if you do all 3 of them, it's multiplication, right? And most people don't realize the difference here, right? So by selling more properties, right? If all you did was sell more properties, you only added an additional, the 2% times the 2 sales. However, it starts becoming multiplication when you start checking every single one of these boxes. Now you start to increase your average sales price from $1 million to $2 million. This is where you're going to start getting massive levels of growth. And then it starts infinitely multiplying when you could do all three of these together. So increase your average commission percentage now 4. It's 480 versus 80. All of a sudden you just 6x'd your income. Okay, that's a 6x in multiplication of income. And that's only from 4 to 6 sales. That's only from $1 million to $2 million. That's only from 2% to 4% averages. If you went crazy and started going nuts, if we go, option C, you went to 8 deals at $3 million and you started averaging, I don't need to do that, 5% commission. 8 deals times $3 million, right, is $24 million in production times 5%, by the way. You know what's crazy? What is that? 240. I think it's 1.2 million. Yeah, I know that. 1.2 million bucks. You only did 8 deals. $3 million average per deal. 5% commission average. Now it's 1.2 million. You went from $80,000 in a year to $1.2 million, and you could do this in 12 months. This change can happen as fast as a year. You can see this very quickly. 4 deals. You did 4 deals, and you just learn the strategies that we teach here about how to, hunt for better quality deals, right? Where you can create larger, commission checks. Get yourself, negotiating the better commission checks. We teach you how to target better price points, right? So you can start increasing your average sales price every year. This is how you multiply your income. It doesn't have to be super complicated. And again, this is only talking about the core three, because number four, right? Because once you start making, call it, this is when you're at, like, let's just say, I would never start hitting number four until you're between, let's say, around $500,000 a year, 500K. If you're at 500K plus, you focus on number four, which is team building. Because number four, you teach people how to do this, and they work for you, right? You teach people how to do A, B, or 1, 2, and 3, so you can eventually become people like C, people like me, where you can have, people who you teach these strategies to of how to sell more real estate, how to make them, how to target certain markets where you can have a decent sales price, and help them increase their commission percentage averages. Because if you just teach the few things here, every single year doesn't have to feel complicated of how to make more money. Is there any questions on this specifically? Because I feel like, we commonly forget about how simplistic this world is when it comes to making more money.
Yeah, my question would be about the deal I sent.
Sure.
I did my best on running that on the time that I had. Not, I still suck at it, but hey, that's why I'm here every time, right? And making the calls.
Would you prefer to give you the most support? Would you prefer that we go through the underwriting spreadsheet, or you want to do back in the napkin?
I got the back napkin pretty good. The full underwriting spreadsheet is what I have issue with, and I think I'm using the wrong spreadsheet because I don't have the hotel one. I have the multifamily one, which I try my best to fill up. I got all the info. It is a Hyatt, so the cap rates suck, but and I don't think it's a good deal based on what I did the numbers. But
Yeah.
my client is the buyer that I have in mind. He live in that area. He's an NFL player, and the Raven actually stays there every time they play in Baltimore. So I think he'd be interested in buying it just to flex. I don't really know. At 10% cash on cash return, the seller bought it last year and he put $6 million down. So I don't even think he'll take the structure that I have, and I think this is the best way I can structure it right now.
Okay, so let's talk about it. Okay, so you're talking about a hotel deal. This hotel is a Hyatt, 130 keys. Let's talk about this real quick, right? So you have a hotel, 130 keys, 3 to 3.5 million in revenue. What does the P&L say?
Last year 3.23.
All right, 24's was 3.23 million. And they're saying 25 employees. They're at approximately 35% NOI. They have a CMBS loan for 8.5 million roughly, and the loan is at 8.23%. Jesus Christ. The loan transfer costs about 1%. It's a 10-year term with 8 years left. The monthly payment is 70,000 a month. Owner is willing to carry part of the balance. The true NOI is 472,000. Well, 472 a year is really just after debt costs. That's cash flow, not NOI.
Oh yeah, sorry.
So let's say on 323, he's netting about $1 million, right? Right, three.
Yeah, gross income is 1.3 before debt costs.
Yeah, times 0.35 is 1.1, or that's at 32. Yeah. So I have 1.1 million. So as an example, in 24, he made 3.2 million revenue. This is top line. Again,
Yeah,
35%.
the PNL says he grows a 1.3 mil because I reviewed it. It was a lot. So, but I
Yeah.
reviewed everything. I sent you the full detail and the breakdown that I did on it as well via email
Yeah,
and the
I'm
spreadsheet.
looking at it. I'm looking at it. Again, I'm just trying to calculate some numbers here just to kind of get a gauge of where we're at. Is the seller even going to be open to this? The seller
I
wants
didn't get
15
that
million?
far. I literally finished everything last night.
I'm saying, what did the seller say he wanted?
He told me to just submit an offer.
Just submit an offer. Okay.
Seller wants 15 mil. That's what he said. He said
He
basically.
wants 15 million. Got it. He bought it for 14. Now he wants 15 million. Got it. He knows he's not exactly in a spectacular place. Just keep in mind that with your offer and the whole situation here with 5% commission, the seller said he'll pay you 5%, or you're going to suggest that?
I'll be pitching that.
Okay, cool. I'm just making sure. I'm just curious though. So, Why not just submit a starting offer at like 14 with these terms and see what he says? I mean, I think
Yeah,
he
that's the
overpaid for
plan.
it, to be honest with you.
That's the plan. My starting offer was going to be at 14. But I want to see what you think and see if
Yeah.
my buyer even is even willing to take on something like this.
Yeah, I would also talk to a bank and try to get a gauge of where they're at interest rate wise because the seller will carry a second got it. You're gonna have them carry a second balance.
Yes.
I mean, that would be pretty lucrative. The problem is that, okay, here's the only thing that I see, couple challenges. One, if you're going to leverage this thing up to the hilt, which you can, your debt cost right now for hotels is probably around 8%. That's my assumption. I would talk to a few different bankers that would, try to run these numbers and try to get you some different types of terms, but 8% sounds probably about accurate. So I don't think you're going to get much better than that. Also, if your guy does he, what kind of real estate does he own now, or he's just looking?
He owns 7 properties. I got him 2 of them. He owns a 13 unit that I just got him earlier this year, thanks to you. I got him a Airbnb for a mil last year, and a bunch of other properties,
Also,
like seven
I'm saying
total right now.
multifamily.
No, he's just trying to buy anything that's cash flow because he makes a lot of money. He just needs to spend it on real estate. That
Yeah.
way, no, Uncle Sam doesn't tax it.
Well, yeah. I mean, a hotel also. The only reason why you would do this, seller carry and all this kind of stuff is because of a tax reason. Because you can do a cost seg on a hotel and probably do pretty well. So that could be a good tax play. But operating a hotel is a fucking bitch. It is
They
a
have a
pain
whole
in the ass.
management company. So the seller has his own management company because he has 3 hotels. But my game plan for this, it'll just be a hands off, like, hey, we'll keep the same management, and then the client, because he does play, at high level, he just wants something hands off. So and
Yeah.
just collect the
But I'm
cash
just
flow
saying,
and the management fees
be
don't need
very
there.
careful, Hans, taking a seller's management company when they're desperately looking to sell it.
Gotcha. Or we can hire somebody else, I
Well,
guess.
I'm just saying, just there's a reason why he's open to selling it at a loss. So just keep in mind that you just have to be very careful. I don't
Okay.
think like hotels to me can either be unfucking believable investments or terrible investments. And you just have to be very careful. So like when I'm looking at something like this, obviously it sounds like it's a great location considering this guy stays there, right? You said that, right?
Yes. Yep. Raven stays there. Yep.
Yeah, so I mean, obviously it's probably one of the main hotels in the market. I would tell you that, there's definitely some appeal to that. The question is there an ability, like is there a ballroom? Is there other things where like, you can make money from that isn't just a hotel?
Like I said, I'm not even there yet.
No,
But
I'm just saying
sure
you're
if
getting some
everything was
information.
listed on their website.
Yeah, I would try to check here. I would be hesitant to getting involved in a hotel deal that isn't a home run, right? I mean, it's nice that he's got, the fact that they stay there is a plus. Obviously, that means that it's probably one of the better hotels in town. I know they're probably not saying there's probably not a Four Seasons in Baltimore, or at least not in the, that specific part of town. But to me, I'm looking at this from the lens of like, I just think it's going to be tough. Sorry, I'm just trying to, I could try to do both here. Again, I'm looking at like maybe
Yeah, I feel the same way.
yeah, like a 1.1 million NOI and debt for the assumable loan is 70 a month, which is 84 a year. Debt, hold on a second. That's 840 a year. Okay, which means it's actually less than what we were just talking about, right? So like you only have like 360,000. No, it's not even 360, it's 260 in cash flow. I'm just doing a 35% expense rate on the 323. Right, Hans, I'd be like, I know that they had a different figure, but I mean, if you're off by just a little bit, this deal goes to incredibly not profitable. Unless you can get the guy to do like a million, 1 million down, 1 million down. Yeah, you have him do the same exact thing with the seller carry, but I would have him do, let's see, seller carry on, well, let's see, it's 8.4, let's just say it's 8.5 million debt, right? How much is it exactly? Let's do 14 million. 14 million minus the 8435 million. That's 565. Let's say we give him a million down, so he's going to sell or carry 4.5 million. And then we're going to have him do 4 5 times 2% interest. which is 90 grand, like you already said, which I would agree with would be smart. Solar carry, that would be at 2%. IO, 90,000. And then your cash flow would probably be something like a 20% cash on cash return. He only has 1 million out of pocket. He only has 1 million to lose versus several million to lose. Like in my, if he really wants a hotel deal, I'm just gonna tell you right now, Hans, I don't know if this is the right person to put it in front of. I'd be careful about just putting all your eggs in this guy's basket of the thinking of like he's going to be the perfect buyer for it. There might be a better buyer out there for this specific asset class, but
Of course.
to
But
me,
he's just the first person I had in mind, and I did ask him that because I know his family lived there, and his I didn't talk to him directly because he had a game. But his team that my go-to person for his team said, yeah, we're definitely interested in it because they all live in that area.
yeah, no, again, that's great. So I'm just saying, like, if you're trying to do a funky, like, way that, like, for me, like, how I would probably create a starter offer, I'd probably be like 1 million down, 4.5 carry, 2% IO, at 14 million, and try to do a deal that way. And if he, if he's open to the idea of doing it at 15 with some, seller carry with very good interest on this type of debt on the second note, this deal could make some sense. But unless this is structured the right way, the whole deal is going to be fucked up.
Oh, absolutely. I had that same thing, and but considering he bought it for 6 mil, I don't know how to make that will make sense to him. 'Cause he just bought it last year too. He spent 6 mil down. That's what that costs. I mean,
Hold
total
on.
loan
So,
is
but I'm
what the
saying, yeah, but well, yeah, he spent 14. He put 6 mil down. Yeah, the question is he desperate to get out enough that he's willing to lock up his money like that for 8 years? Who knows?
Yeah, of course. I think the numbers I presented is what will make sense the most. I was gonna start with 1 mil down as you presented, but I'm working. I didn't get there.
Hotels are, these types of situations where if you cannot if you cannot raise the room rates, which I don't think that there's probably not a crazy amount of room. This guy owns 3 hotels. This guy's not a schmuck, right? He's probably charging market rates. You can check if they aren't. Okay, but
Yeah, average daily rate is $120, which I included the star review as well, which I've never seen that, so I was hoping you could shed some light on that for me.
yeah. I mean, look again. The question is going to be: is there room in the rates? Which you can just check a bunch of local hotels, right? You can check, again, go to any type of Marriott hotels, Hilton hotels, whatever, right? Like you're going to want to check out all the different, comparable types of hotels, see what they're charging for an average daily rate for queens or whatever, right? For queen beds, regular rooms. If I'm imagining it's probably close to market at the 120. Maybe you can get to
Likely.
130, 140. I mean, just even guessing for your market, I'm imagining that's close to the fact that just based on this guy's ability to run manage hotels. The question is really going to be: is there any additional revenues that can be generated? Because like it seems like to me, 323 is about going to be capping out minus
I think
appreciation.
it's capping out too.
Yeah,
I think this is one of those deal he'll get the appreciation and get a little bit of cash flow on it, and it's a it's like a trophy, right? Most trophy properties don't exactly cash flow or has a good
for sure.
NOI.
No, for
ROI.
sure. I mean, again, but I mean, this is one of those deals where like your NOI is 1-1. The debt cost is just incredibly expensive right now, is why it makes it very tough. He's going to make maybe a couple bucks, but not a lot. But if look to make it a good deal, you just try to work the seller carry details. If he doesn't give a shit about making it an unbelievable deal like we do, then obviously then you could just rip it at what he paid last year for it.
How will that work if I'm pitching him with I guess my commission, because then my commission will be coming out of his down payment,
Well,
and then the
yeah,
seller will not like half a
I
mil.
know that. I know that. Yeah, which is why you have to be like, I would ask him and say, look, if I have an offer for you, I can probably get you around 14 million. The problem is that, he's going to need you to hold a seller carry, right, in a second position. Are you open to doing that?
He
Right.
already said yes. Yeah,
Okay.
it's
And
just a
say,
matter
how
of the
much, how
amount.
much money down would you need in order to feel comfortable? Because then what's going to happen is that keep in mind, like this deal is probably going to end up in a point where whatever, I agree with you, whatever money down, right, call it, 300 to probably, 600K is what you're trying to make on this deal. I don't know if you're going to make that. There might not be that much room unless the guy's willing to put down a chunk of money. So, anyways, I would just say like, hey, look, I have an offer that we're working on, but before we get it drafted and signed and all the whole nine and submitted, I just want to clarify with you how much down would you need in order to consider some seller carry?
Yep, that's my next step too. Thank you.